line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here live on Pizza Race TV. We are in Long Pond, Pennsylvania today, Pocono Raceway, the tricky triangle for today's action showcase of the Pit Stall Racing Series live here on PTM Racing TV. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader, Chris Stride, joining you guys here today. The ARCA Series are in town, and it is a 2.5 mile long, 80 lap shootout today for these drivers, as they're going to be going head to head with one another, looking to try to take the best and bring on the rest. With all their speed and aerodynamic efficiencies, these cars will take to the stage. Should be a very tough one and a very hard one to figure out. And with one of those being in mind, we're going to talk with the guy that knows how to get it done on the bigger tracks. Len McNeese Jones now joining me here on the call here. Len, definitely a long road today here with 80 laps to the distance, sir. Len, you got a copy down there? Well, apparently not. Unfortunately, it looks like we don't have him on the line here, so we'll go ahead and switch on over here. See if Dean Viney's got a copy. Dean, you got a copy down there, sir?
Hey, we got a copy. How you doing up there tonight?
We're doing pretty good today here, sir. And it's good to see the old Butterfinger scheme back out here today. Now we have seen you on the bigger tracks here racing hard, but this is probably one of the tougher tracks that these drivers face up against. What's kind of your thoughts as you get ready to take on the tricky triangle?
Yeah, I agree. This is it's a tough track. Without it, it really is. You know, it's a big track. There's room, but you know, after a while, it really likes tires on this. I think that's going to be a key issue here tonight. Is, you know, who can save them tires and make them last when they need them.
For you, how do you plan to save your tires in this case of the track today?
Well, honestly, we're not sure how we're going to do this for sure. Every time we think we may have something, things look good, ends up coming back and biting us. So I think it's going to be trial and error and as we go, to be honest.
First air there, Dean. Thank you so much for your time down there, buddy.
Thanks, man. Have a good one up here tonight.
Yeah, too. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Vonnie on the line there. Well, here's a guy we haven't seen before in a while. Who is this guy? Troy Radford? All jokes aside. Troy, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good too, sir. So once again, making the trip up a little bit towards the north side and the northeast of the part of the world. Well, I have to ask you this here, Troy. This is a long, long road to success and a very tough little challenge up ahead for you. How do you kind of feel with taking on the big tricky triangle?
You know, Pocono's always been a good one to me. This is kind of the home track. I used to live down in Georgia. Now I live about 2.5 hours away from Pocono. So, you know, a little bit of a close trek for us. Not quite like some of the others. But, you know, it's mainly about saving the tire and being smart. It's so easy to kill your right front, whether it's fender or rubber or, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's so easy to kill it here that it's just, you know, be patient, be smart, wait to pick up the gas a little bit, and, you know, run your own pace. Don't chase what other people are doing. Just run your own pace, let them do their thing, and kill their right front.
So, obviously, we've got 3 different corners here based off different track layouts from across the United States. But for you, in this case, where are the main 2 corners you've been able to figure out to master above all else? Because it's always been known you can only get 2 instead of getting that 3rd perfected around here.
So 1 and 3 are usually pretty good for me. My trouble has always been the tunnel turn. I just don't seem to be able to carry the speed that a lot of fast guys do here. So, you know, definitely something that I have to work on personally, and just kind of if I can figure out the tunnel turn, I'm usually okay. I say that as I'm just about wrecking through the tunnel turn. But, you know.
I was about to say that tunnel turn looked like it gave you a little bit of troubles down there. But Troy, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck as you get ready to figure it out on the track.
Thank you very much.
For those at home that are wondering, the tunnel turn is based off the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's turn, by the way. So just a little fun fact for you. Time to listen to our 4th fastest driver here so far in the practice session here. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Mitchell on the line here, and the old missile gonna need to be put up today in this kind of race format, isn't it, DJ?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what to expect here. I assume, you know, we're gonna need to save tires, but I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not yet.
Well, the only way to really know is when you get right up ahead with everybody today. But DJ, we just talked with Radford about this, but the 3 turns obviously are 3 dynamically different turns based off different tracks. For you, in your case, we heard that turn 2 has been troublesome for him and others. What about you? What is your best 2, and what's the one that gives you the most fits?
Well, honestly, I like turn 2. It's real fast. I mean, you can mess it up real quick. I definitely have troubles with turn 3. I just feel real slow in it all the time. So just trying to figure that one out.
Trying to figure it all out and get it dialed in. DJ, we do appreciate your time down there. Best of luck as you get ready to roll it out with these guys today.
Thanks, Chris.
DJ, the Missile. Let's listen to another guy that's got a lot of experience here in this league, in this division. Ladies and gentlemen, the 00, Gordon Larson Jr. on the line here. And Gordon going head-to-head on another big super speedway, a big plate track, if you will. But this track, obviously, very high on the draft packages here. How does that kind of fare for you when in terms of making the passes here? Well, looks like we don't have Gordon with us today, so that will unfortunately be kind of the time for him. We'll get to Tim Lee now here and see how he's doing. Tim, do you have a copy down there?
Sure do.
All right, well, Tim, nevertheless, great to see you back out here once again and on a big plate track, S kind of track, speedway, super speedway, if you will. I say plate track because it really has a lot of dynamic properties for what you have to do in the drafting zone and all that. For you, how is it kind of fair to kind of take control with this kind of racing style?
Yeah, this is a fun track, you know, the tricky triangle. This will be another one of those, you know, Chris, strategy races, if you will, right? Hit all your marks, you know, try to race as clean as you can. And then, you know, I think after probably 15 or 20 laps, we're going to be pretty spaced out. You'll see some green flag runs, a lot of green flag runs. and then it'll be up to who had the best strategy going forward. But I like the track; it's a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Got a pretty good group here tonight, so yeah, it's going to be fun. Only one race left after this, though, so it's going to get interesting.
Get interesting and get a lot more difficult to kind of get everyone situated out. Obviously, I know this is a very long haul, very tough little ordeal for you guys, but for you and your team, I mean, really, where does the strategy lie, and where is going to be the presence felt here on this kind of racing surface?
Just hit your marks. If you don't hit your mark in turn 1, it kind of screws everything up. You don't get enough speed for turn 2. Hit turn 2, and then glide through turn 3, and then take a nap on that long front stretch.
For sure there. Well, Tim Lee, you've got your work cut out for you, bud. Good luck out there.
Thank you, sir.
The professor, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Lee on the line. Well, only one driver left we can really chat with here. Corey Coe on the line here. Corey, do you got a copy down there? And I believe that will be a no from Corey. So looks like that will pretty much do it for our chat today with the drivers. A lot of guys getting ready to go and really settled up here. We will take a quick look before we head into our race today here. Let's take a look at our track tech talk presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing. Well, if you didn't believe me when I said only 3 turns. This is literally just 3 turns. This is Pocono Raceway, or nicknamed the Tricky Triangle, 2.5 miles in length, 3 different corners based off of 3 different tracks across the United States. Mainly a open wheel / IndyCar style S track that was created for the fastest and the toughest speeds, but also this track is what I like to call the driver's endurance. This will tear you mind, your body, and your soul apart, just trying to beat out the rest and take on the best. Only true drivers may be able to secure and succeed in this format, in this track. Look for drivers early on to be getting some really fast corners and some hard licks and races, but I guarantee you more than anything, we're going to be seeing a lot of guys and gals trying to merely just narrow down the 3 turns and try to figure out which turns they get the most speed on, and the other one just enough to where it will last out. We are now fast approaching our time here, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to begin our qualifying session. Practice is done and over with. We are now heading it on down to the tracks. Checkers fly for practice to be completed. We're going to throw on the marker for our qualifying session now. Qualifying is on the clock. Drivers now have 10 minutes to get their times, their laps in and zoned up here. I'm interested to see what we get out of these guys and what these drivers bring to the table. Looks like Todd Poston immediately getting out and about. Troy Radford also in there. Tony Westcott has come on board. He says, I'm back. Tony, it is good to hear from you, my good sir. Great to hear from all our drivers and our fans coming on to the show here. We get settled in and ready to roll them out. The morning sun arising from Pocono Raceway. There are no lights on this track, so there's no way they'll be able to race under the night lights. So it's pretty much go out and race it out. I still remember, though, that one race at Talladega. I believe it was early, I think it was actually a Thursday night race we called, known as the IROC Series. They had actually had their race, the first race we ever called for them, go so late. It went into the nighttime, and I was just beyond stunned they could even get that race finished up. But hey, all in all, though, it was a fun time, and it was a good time for them. I hope they are still doing well. We have not heard from them in quite a bit, so. So as we roll the cars out on the track here. First times now being said, Todd Poston, Ty Marasco, Troy Radford, and Bobby Anderson getting the first lap times out on the speedway. Or the raceway, I should say. Yeah, Bobby Anderson already looks like he's got a few glitch graphic gremlins coming on the attack for him. I'm interested to see really with times-wise where these drivers are kind of hidden up. I know in practice they had only about a 50-second lap time. That is their fastest, but with the ARCA car, again, this is not going to be a very fast car. I mean, for their standards, this track's going to be darn fast, but it's going to be very interesting to see just how long the run can go for them and how bad those draft speeds will hit them. 54.62, your fastest time so far. 54.82, bottom of the set there. Mike Rideout, the Moser Racing MRM number 76, now onto the track as well. His time of 55.36, so about a second off from the fastest guy there in Troy Radford. Eric Blount clipped the wall up, so he's lost his one lap time. Blake Trawick now about to set his time on the clock. And man, I tell you one thing too, it's extremely easy to make a small, minor, minute mistake here if you hit everything just a little bit back in the track and really out on the spot here. Dave Freeman says the pit stop race at Atlanta ran into the dark. Dave, I don't even remember that one, bud. 54.65 for Radford closes out his final time. Anderson's final lap at 54.82. That will put him dead set in second. Ford Larson Jr. only getting a 54.95. The rattlesnake Robert Kahn has now intervened onto the track as the rest of the field continues to do their thing. Kahn bringing out the Amp Energy National Guard 88. I think you probably know that scheme quite well. For those that are just tuning in now for the first time ever, first off, thank you so much for coming on board. And if you guys do like the show and do like the content, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and check out all the other links down below with our sponsors today. Without them, we couldn't be able to do it without them or you guys, so thank you so much for your support. Trawick's first time, 54.55. He has laid down the fastest time now. Just about a tenth faster than Troy Radford. Watching along with the rattlesnake Robert Kahn. Kahn definitely having quite a bit of a week in his own right. Sunday night having to go to war with some drivers and then getting quite a bit of a stir down on his end. Now today, looking to set everybody upon on his plan and on his stake. He is in his home state and he is already showing why he is landing running out here. 54.53, fastest time of the day. It's interesting to me too that he's driving such a wide run there on the outside. Usually you don't see Kahn try to make moves like that, but he's definitely trying to jump every position he can, get the best out of his equipment. See what he can do with the Gulf Oil number 9 though, Corey Coe. He's also now trying to set himself into the bracket. He's a guy that knows a thing or two about trying to make it or break in these races. He won back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Super Speedway version that is. Taking everyone to the limit and taking it in full custody. Now looking for one more good lap here as he had a 54.86 last time. It's a 54.92 for his second lap. The rattlesnake Robert Kahn, 54.70 his second lap, so he'll be on top with a 54.53. The rattlesnake is on top with the fastest time of the day. And really, it's not even close. Trawick and Radford gave it a fight and gave it a run. But when the rattlesnake strikes, well, let's just say his bite is as ferocious as his venom is when he spews it out. And Robert Van Ness already coming on board to remind everyone the snake will bite you. Well, he did bite, and he took a good amount of it. I'll be right back real quick, folks. They're going to go ahead and do a quick driver's meeting, and we will get settled up and situated out to get to today's action here in Long Pond. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, currently no other drivers have set a lap time out on the track. We're currently just getting ready to go for the race itself here. So at this point, pretty much just getting the guys and gals a little bit of time to breathe, a little bit of time to get themselves settled in. Again, this is a very, very long race they're about to go endure here. Deborah Sharp saying, "Let's go racing." Thanks for tuning on in here, Deborah. I think, too, one thing we're going to really notice here is there will be many drivers kind of pushing their luck and pushing a limit or two, but I think really those tires will be the one thing that hurts them the most, and it's going to be also the thing that maybe gives everybody a bit of a headache to have to figure out with what they're going to be up against. So much on the line, so many things that they have to get dialed in here. It's going to bring out the best and the rest of these drivers. Also, do not fear as well, if you heard Tim say a minute ago, next week is the last race. Well, he is true for this season, but on June 22nd, we've got ourselves a little something from the Pit Stall Series that will be coming up. I can't say everything yet, but I can say if you do miss a little bit of Pushing Limits Racing League and the way they did their system, you may like what you get from the Pit Stall Series, so just a heads up. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to head it down to our track intros, and for our racing sector today, we're going to kick it on down here in Long Pond. The drivers prepared. I hope you are ready. Let's get down to it. Time for the Pit Stall Racing Series. When you need the best designs in your fleet of vehicles, there's only one brand name that many trust in. One that makes every car pop out from the rest of the field, and that is Lightning Wrapz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at Lightning Wrapz. Get yourself a vehicle unlike the rest. Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure. So the time has come, ladies and gentlemen. Presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing, here is your starting lineup for Pocono Raceway. On the pole, at number 88, it'll be the Rattlesnake. Robert Kahn on the outside, and the number 56, that is Blake Treywick. Row number 2 is the 94, Troy Rad for the outside, and the 18, it is Bobby Anderson. Row number 3 in the 9, Corey Cova to the outside. In the 00, Gordon Larson Jr. Row number 4, the Throttle Chantel Bottle on the 5, the outside. The number 4, DJ the Missile Mitzel. Row number 5 is the 1 of Ty Morosco, the outside. And the 31, Tad Poston. Row number 6 is the 84, Lenny McNeese, the outside. And the 76, Mike Rideout. Row number 7 is the 24, the Professor Tim Lee. And the outside in the 78 is Dean Viney. Row 8 and the number 60, Brian Rainville is outside. In the big 3, Michael Pratt. Row 9 is the 6 of Eric Blount, but it was outside in the 47, Ray Radford. The final star today, the 08, Robert Smith. The field now has got the picture, and they are ready to rip it on down around this place. Deborah saying weather great for racing. Yeah, it is indeed. No rain, clouds, no nothing. Pocono finally giving us a little bit of a breather for once, because you know how Pocono is with that stuff. And it's going to be a very tough order as well. These drivers, they know they've got a long, long road ahead of them. This is a tough, tough track to put under themselves and push to their absolute finest details and limits. I feel more and more these drivers are going to be really locking horns through every angle, every little sense of the toward corner and turn. And I think honestly too, you may see some surprise moves and movers in this one. Pocono has been known to have a few underdog stories be put to life, but the best and the toughest always come out on top on this track. Which one will it be here? We're about to find out as they bring him down to the back straightaway from turn 2. We are leaning him down to turn 3. What turn 4? No turn 4. This is Pocono Raceway. We didn't call it the tricky triangle for nothing. Here we go. Lingering him right off through corner number 3. It's time for Con, Trawick, and all them to go to war. The field locks up. We're ready to lead him down to the Fort Worth green screen printing starting zone. Green's out. Let's go racing at Pocono. Watch for a lot of early movers here entering in the corner. Gotta watch those tricky. Oh no, this is what I was gonna say. You gotta watch those tricky turns. That's why we got one completely upside down. Todd Poston has completely been flipped on its head. Marasco involved in the wreck and destroyed out in the process. And Marasco looked like he is not too happy down there. Well, I did all that intro and then this is what happens. And now I just broke my keyboard. Great. Alright, let's take a look at the replay here real quick before somebody else breaks something down there. So, looks like Chantel just catching the bottom end of the track, and then Marasco catches Mitzel, and then all of a sudden, Mike Rideout, oh boy, takes a nasty little tumble, then Blau just plows right in, and then Poston slaps the one of Marasco, and Marasco is like, what was that for? I think in his mind he probably had a little something else on his plate there. We'll go on board here with Mike Rideout. This could be an interesting camera angle, I'll tell you that much right now. Yeah, Apollo didn't actually lose too much control of the car. She actually managed to save it, but everything else that happened, oh boy. Just a nasty, nasty collision out of the gate here. The driver's obviously probably not too happy. They've already got to look at getting something done here with their cars and fix up the damage. So right now, Con, Trawick, Radford, Anderson, and Co. getting away from that madness as they are the top 5 drivers, but everyone else that was pretty much in that mix-up or in there somewhere, well, let's just say they've got some work to do. I believe too right now a lot of these guys focusing highly on their circumstances, their situations, and knowing they can't be making too many crucial mistakes here. They've got to be very deliberate and focused throughout. I think, honestly, that can make a difference here, and that will indeed be the one that wins this race outright. So doubled up now. We are lining them back in position to get them rallied up again. All drivers now in a collective bargaining pursuit and situation here. They have got their work cut out for them. Can they get started up and can they stay away from troubles? Lay them down onto the corners here. Khan, Treywick, and all them once again going to be the commanders of this start. How will they fare and how will they handle their this complexity of toughness? Well, we shall soon find out. Off the distance, back down through corner number 3, down the straightaway, and we lead them back off. Green flag, back on out. All the drivers that were in that nasty little wreck out of the gate got fixed up, and now they're back on the track, lining them right through. Rolling it right through. Look at Treywick immediately dipping into the corners. He's trying to get a run on Khan. Probably thinking, take the chances now, catch them, and worry about the problems later. A bold strategy. How wise, I don't know. But Bobby Anderson, big crossover there. Oh, he just shot straight through the 94 Troy Radford, a turn that Radford said he did not like too much. And he may have now figured out why. Anderson may have been listening carefully to that and used it to his advantage. Your leader is the rattlesnake Robert Kahn, though, as they lead him back off through the corners. Still everybody trying to stay relatively clean, but it looks like a little problem there for Robert Smith, the 08. He decides to go plowing through off turn number 3 into the wall protection. Got it out of there, but he took a little bit of damage for his troubles. Well, the Monday Night Series is his only double back-to-back driver winner so far this season. Waddle currently leading down side by side here, looking for the top 10 spots after Smith's little mistake. Shoot to the tunnel turn. And Smith way wide, 3 wide. Look down there a little bit of time. Morasco accents Morasco. Oh, look at this. Got a huge run off there. He went so low, and then all of a sudden he just brought her back to life, and now he's looking for a double. He's looking for a triple. He went for a double trouble. Now he's going for the triple, but he can't quite get it around right at North Bottle there off the straight. He'll have to line it back up here and get a little bit more speed to kind of catch up to him. Eric Blount now looks like he's going to line the Viagra number 6. Woo, boy, right in between there, as you can see, DJ Mitzel holding his line off. He didn't want nothing to do with him down there, but when it comes to shove, you got to push everything to its limits. Wow, back down in the turn here. Mitchell trying to fire him off a little bit more here. You can see the 6. He's giving her everything she's got. Todd Poston right in that mix as well. No driver is safe here at the moment from the carnage and the chaos that can ensue in just a mere short second. Gone with a huge lead right now over Bobby Anderson. Anderson just trying to stay with him. You can see how wide Anderson is having to drive off though just to try to stay with him. Meanwhile, everybody else in the corner is just kind of doing their own thing to shoot their gaps. Look at Mitzel. Big shoot off on the gap there through turn number 1. I almost said turn 2 there. I'm like, no way, turn 2's down here. So Blount opened the door for Mitzel. Mitzel now into the 7th position. Anderson dealing with Radford right behind him. Yeah, Radford right at this moment here, in my opinion, probably it's just playing long-term game versus long-term loss. As you now see just how really wide that front straightaway is here at Pocono. If there was a way we can make that if there's a way we can make that as wide as that spot is and let these drivers have to figure it out with all 4 turns being the same, I think we may be in for a little bit of a treat in terms of just how crazy or how scoped up this kind of racing could get for some people. It's amazing to me though how structured, how much openings and speed you can carry if you just get enough little power under the car or under the truck, depending on what you're racing down there. I think the craziest thing I think I've ever seen here was literally just lack of fuel runs and then all of a sudden drivers kind of just dropping like flies and giving the other an opportunity to strike. And passes like this certainly do make up for that kind of time and distance. Anderson opening the door up for Radford to come onto his inside, but Radford not able to use all that speed he gained in the corner around the 18. Khan being very smart here and being very clever, kind of just driving his own race, driving his own line. And you can see too, when he gets onto those straights, he's already shifting all that weight off from Anderson and Radford. These drivers run about a 550 horsepower package in this car, so that means those draft runs are extremely crucial to everything you can get out of it. It's not like the Gen 4 actually, where you actually have all that 900 horsepower to build up a speed and build up a run with it. This is the complete opposite. Instead, you are now having to work around finding every little detail, every little spot you can to catch back up. Corey Larson Jr. in the 00 DuPont machine trying to bring a little Pepsi Cola action up to the front here as the Gulf Oil number 9 of Corey Coe keeps his distance and keep his ground in there. And you can see the way they dig into those turns too. Notice with that tunnel turn, especially how they kind of shorten it out so much. They're trying to catch just the very lip of it to build that power back off. Meanwhile, down in turn number 3, you can drive a little wider and force the other driver to have to try to drive a little bit tighter, because then you're going to have to widen out that spot. But what it does is it also gives a lot more wear and tear on that right front, and even a bit of that right rear if you're not careful down there. Look at this now, all 3 cars closer together than they were earlier. Radford desperately trying to make his groove around the Anderson not letting him through. Khan just looking for any kind of opening to get him away from him. Remember, they got to go 80 laps to the distance. An extremely long run. That just intensifies more as you go. Your arms start to wear in and tear up when you get about halfway in. You mentally are starting to become fried. But you just keep thinking to yourself, and you just know in the bop of your head, if I could just get it to that final lap, I will be able to work every bit of misery and suffering I dealt with inside that car into a beautiful finish. And you got to put into perspective too. Pit stop's going to be very much a thing here. There is the old cliche of tire and fuel runs. Definitely something these guys were well aware of when they came in today. You know, I'm kind of surprised too how wide Khan's taken some of these corners off in the distance here as we go back to Brian Rainville and Len McNeese. But Khan's almost driving it so far wide on that outside. I'm so used to seeing drivers really play more towards the bottom lane and using that as kind of their drafting spot. But Khan driving that wide up in that kind of a corner leads me to believe he's seeing something down there that maybe the other drivers weren't seeing in practice. Now, that's not to say that he hasn't learned from something from when he got in practice to where his qualifying run was, because you remember his qualifying run, he did drive up a little wider on the outside. So, that tells me he believes that that is where the speed is going to be, and that's where he needs to use it to keep these guys in check. It's a very tall order, though, to perfect to do, especially in these kind of races. Little onboard action here with Ty Morosco here as the old Roscoe V Coltrane styled up #1 of MF Racing Designs. He is a no quit, no give kind of guy. He'll fight you for everything he's got in these kind of races. You can see he's trying to fight that Six Sigma Sim Racing #5 with a throttle Chantel bottle. Who again in the late models division of the Pit Stall Series, which is on the Monday night editions, which we broadcast on Tuesdays. She has gone back to back after really what could best be described as some wild racing and some very crazy moments in between. I would know she's the one that passed me that race, and I still have not forgot about that one. But hey, if I'm going to lose to my rival, so be it. I don't think I really want to lose to anyone else besides her on these kind of races, especially not that one. Take him down right now, the Missile, DJ Missile, the Kodak film #4. Trying to put it to the max and put it all on the line, but has not been able to move up much, only going one spot up so far this race. Has had a little bit of a tricky time around this place, no pun intended. I think a lot of that's just due to just unfortunately the wear and tear the car is feeling, and also the pressure he must be getting through. Is now even Blake Treywick way back in the back now, moving up into the 4th spot. We got the drone cam rolling through the chopper end here. We're just getting a good look at what's going on right now between these four guys. Look at this, two completely different lines. High outside, low bottom lane run. But look at the difference. The outside line is working much better than the bottom lane is for the overall speed. It would seem the circumference of the tire is liking what it sees up on the outside, and it's allowing the other guys to really keep their momentum up. Whereas those on the bottom have to back down just a little bit and get the car to settle back down and get ready to roll through to the exit. That leads me to believe that, again, this is a very intensifying long run pace that these guys are going to have to continuously strive for and conquer to if they want to have any chance of survival here. Ty Morosco first in the pit road, by the way. Bradford trying to use a little bit of Treywick as a help and leverage. Now he got a little bit of leverage there. There's a little draft off there down that front back straightaway. Yeah, Radford, you know, he is a former Georgian. He is from the Georgia area, but he has also made his home now in the Pennsylvania region. So, being near Long Pond, I gotta believe was probably of an advantage for him today, knowing that he knows how to race this kind of home track out a little bit. Look at this now, driving hard on the outside. He's trying to take Anderson's line away, and Treywick, well, let's just say he's trying to keep him from doing anything. Bradford will have to go up wide, looking to shoot the gap. Hey, look at this. Maybe we might be shooting a few thrills in there. 3 wide, right off turn 1. Treywick beautifully done there and looking to power it off, but Radford's the one that gains the advantage. Treywick, though, able to use that to his advantage and swings it to the inside through the tunnel turn. Anderson doing a great job battling hard and battling in that area, but man, he just lost a lot of time by simply getting trapped in a place he didn't want to be in. Brian Rainville also coming on board here on the comment section, said heck yeah earlier. Brian, thanks for tuning on in, buddy. If you're wondering where he's at right now, he's currently on the 13th spot, dealing with Len McNeese, the Bull 160, though. Not too far out of this race just yet. Just needs a little bit more time, a little bit more pressure added on. But so far, really, it's been all or not for these guys. Everyone's just trying to keep their paces up as we continue through this one. So line back down. Treywick still holding on to the third spot with Troy Radford right up ahead of him. Corey Coe, DJ Mitchell here moving 6th into 7th. Gordon Larson Jr. your 5th spot, looking for the 4th spot there from Bobby Anderson. And the longer they go, the longer they face, the more time and effort is starting to dictate up on them. And I get the feeling, too, the way Anderson and Larson Jr. are right now, honestly. I think you got two completely different ideals and ideologies going at it here. Larson Jr. just a little too tight coming off turn number 3 there. Packed into the wall. Little Bobby Anderson looking to take any chance he can get away from him there. A lot of power, a lot of run there, and you can see right there, everyone just looking for the gap, looking for the shot. Todd Poston here, moving up one as well, thanks to Morosco into pit road. And Chantel Bottle getting back into the 9th position. Poston again, the driver that went for a wild ride in turn number 1 on the very first lap. Mike Rideout ended up sending him back to the shadow realm by flipping him up on his head and over on his lid. And ever since then, he's very much just been trying to keep the guns blazing, trying to keep the car somewhat stably in check. And that's exactly what these two drivers have been doing right now at this moment. Brian Rainville a little bit further down off the gap here. Try to keep the 60 Mobile 1 at least ahead of Lynn McNeese and try to maybe make a run for the top 10. Definitely going to be a very tough challenge, though, considering who all is in there. I get the feeling, too, the way these drivers are currently dictating their paces, dictating the control. I think a lot of them really were not fully prepared for how tough this would be as Robert Kahn, the rattlesnake, goes into pit road. Bobby Anderson joins him. Gordon Larson Jr. and Corey Coe also in pit road already. There's not a lot of ways to prepare for kind of a race like this either. It really all hinders on one thing, which is how well can you put two turns together and then figure out a way to at least make a third turn work out favorably enough for you where you can race it hard with. And then after that, again, it's just that mental and physical wear and tear you deal with as a driver on a constant level. But this is even worse. Like, Pocono is truly what I would call the endurance level of racing. Pit stops now coming in, and Trawick trying to beat out Radford. Radford, though, pretty much just taking it to his punch. Gets a good pit stop in. Both guys are in the pits. Looks like we'll see Brian Rainville join him. DJ Mitzel, Eric Blount, Chantal Pottle moving up quite a few positions. And DJ Bitzel in pit road. Chantel Powell, Todd Poston at pit road. Tim Lee joining them down in there. I believe Ray Radford will be right behind them. Yep. So Eric Blount, Len McNeese, Mike Rideout deciding to stay out a little longer. Kind of surprised they're going as long as they have here so far. And these drivers starting to gap off quite a bit here, and now this is where pit stops become so important and so frustrating as well, because now you got to basically time everything perfectly. It's you choose your tires, choose your fuel, choose your run, and then go from there and hope it works out in your favor. Right now, Robert Kahn in a whole lot of trouble down there. It looks like he had a horrible pit stop. And I think I might know why too. I think he may have got a speeding penalty down there going into pits, so that maybe would have cost him. McNeese and Blount right out, finally getting their pit stops here. Trawick and Radford, though, they're already out, so they're now just looking to get ahead, and they have successfully completed that. Bobby Anderson a little bit of a gap away. Marasco, Corey Coe, and all them still as well. So now it all hinders on really who makes the right decisions here. Let's take a look at our best lap times of the day here. And so far, if you're heading a 54, you've done something right, son. The 54.81 is the fastest we're clocking in with Troy Radford. Second fastest of 54.87. And if you really want to know what is in there too, Robert Kahn landed on a 54.90. So he is off by about 900 to a second for the fastest. But Blake Trawick, a 55 flat, has been his fastest time of the day. His last speed, though, is a 56.05 compared to Troy Radford, 56.34. bit of a distance and a bit of a gap there, and you can see just how far the leaders are suppressing and circumferencing themselves from each other. That's down over there. That is Marasco, Coe, and Mitzel there, as well as Gordon Larson Jr. Fade into the mix. They're hard on the gas right now, trying to make the best of their ends and their ends meet here. DJ Mitzel, Gordon Larson Jr., Corey Coe, and Ty Marasco all pushing their limits up and pushing themselves as high as they can, as fast as they can to try to see where they can go. Nobody is safe so far. Only the gaps are bridged by themselves, and in that place is where you can go for. Looks like Marasco having some company there on his back door there, laying the right off there of Bobby Anderson. Marasco now facing the consequences of it. Corey Coe swinging it right on the inside there, the 9, getting a good run off. Marasco trying to stick with him. That's a whole lot of gap and a whole lot of trouble to have to be going at there, and he knew it. Coe looking to try to build the speed up. But it is Marasco holding him down, maybe for another second or two, off the corner, and it looks like Coe will finally get a draft line off there. He gets it right up ahead of him. These guys are not leaving each other's side, nor are they leaving each other alone. The only thing they can think about right now is just taking themselves to the limit. But you can only go so far before your equipment starts to fail you, before you start to mentally just wear and tear out there. I've got a feeling these guys have feeling quite a bit of it so far. Get to our blimp cam here. This is the set of drivers right now from third on back, Blake Trawick and Troy Radford. You can see their gaps quite a bit of weights from one another here. Trawick currently on the very back end of there, as you see on the left side of your screen. Now in the middle, that's where he's currently having to deal with all that traffic there. And he's got the throttle Chantel bottle right in his way. Probably going to stay up high, stay out of trouble. Doesn't want nothing to do with any of the drivers there. Packed up a bit here again, and you can see some wanting to try to work with others to get the best run they can by simply just squeezing up a little. Oh! Squeezing up a little bit there. That's 3 wide and off. This could be interesting. Marasco got a little too close there to Coe. Sliding, snudged him up, and then sledged him up more into the turn. It was Coe that had to back off and settle it back in. Marasco got it dialed up again. And then the missile, DJ Mitzel almost shot both of them right where it hurts the most, which is taking away their run and then their gap with that dirty airflow. cost him any kind of hope or speed, and then had to try to back out before they got into him there. But he was smart, and he knew where to run it from. Now the question is can he keep his speed up again and keep the distance off on the field? And now look at this. Here comes Roscoe again. That old Roscoe Beach Old Train. I swear, man, he just does not care for what he does. He'll fight everyone off and put it to the limit. Shoot to the gap. He got the run on the Chevrolet Impala SS of the 9. But the Mustang has not enough power off turn 3. Roscoe seems to be struggling with corner number 3 as his turn. He seems to have a great turn 1 and turn 2. But he's struggling on the other ends. And look at this, the missile. DJ Mitchell now, he starts to man the cannons. Fires away, but no go. Coe stays up ahead of him. Well, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Has this been a day of racing, my friends? So far, we've had a nasty little collision, a nasty little wreck, and now we've just got a whole lot of battles going on. And did I mention Eric Blount decided to put his name in the hat? The Viagra number 6 Taurus has now intervened. And he now starts to put the pressure on his fellow Ford drivers in the Mustang camp. The field's starting to separate out a little bit more as they go here. You can see everyone just kind of getting further along out on the track. At this point, this really just now becomes more of a kind of a shoot and take kind of racing deal. It's not a lot of areas you can really make mistakes at or really take more control of than just doing what you need to do here. Glenn McNeese getting a little bit on the wild end there, getting a little bit of that curbing on turn number 3. That corner I know for sure is based off the Milwaukee Mile, by the way. I know 2 of them. I know I've said it on air before on turn 1, but for the life of me, every time I try to say it on the broadcast, I always forget. So I know what the turn is named from. I know where the turn is kind of designed off of, but I just, for the life of me, can never remember the actual track. But I know turn 2 and 3, so at least give me that one, guys. I don't really watch Pocono or really go here too much, so obviously because I live in the Midwest, so. So Blake Trawick currently the race leader. Start to gap off more as they go. Everyone else right now just kind of doing their own little thing. Looks like Brian Rainville actually intervening in the party a little bit on Bobby Anderson's case. He's put some distance in between there. He's got a little bit of a run going. The Mobile 1, number 60, Rainville, keeping Anderson in check, keeping him in line. And in my opinion right now, it looks like he's got this gap kind of dialed up quite well, I will say. Probably what he needs to do, honestly, it's also probably better the way he does it here in this case, as now pit stops being made again. DJ Mitzel and Time Roscoe as well, Gordon Larson Jr. head to pit road, and it's a very tough race there in as they get in and out quickly. So now as we get along the rides here, Blake Trewick going to finally bring us to the halfway marker here as we're going to take a quick look at those pit strategies here and just see how far we come. This is presented by Lightning Wrapz. So far anyway, 24 laps is the necessary tire limit and the fuel limit here. So that seems to be where most of these guys are kind of pushing their luck to and pushing their cars up towards. I suspect the longer we go, the further we go, it will be getting a little bit harder to kind of catch that break. Oh, especially for guys like Brian Rainville, especially with those tires given out. Those tires are their saving grace, and they're honestly probably the most important part of this race. So, drive it in too much, drive it in too far, and you end up costing yourself more time than it was worth. Guys like the Professor Tim Lee knowing that too well as well. And right now probably just trying to focus on maybe getting a little bit further ahead for the long climate run. Certainly a tough decision and a tough deal to figure out in this case. Right now, as we're past halfway here, Time Roscoe, Robert Kahn, Gordon Larson Jr., all of them currently just settling themselves back into the pace, back into the conditions here. I gotta believe guys like Robert Kahn right now gotta be a little bit infuriated with themselves, knowing that this is literally their home track, their home playground, and making that slight little move that they made earlier by making that mistake by pit road stop standpoint. I think honestly Kahn's probably just settle himself down a little bit, just trying to get any little bit he can dial in on this track. I think that's the hardest part though, the driver, is just racing at your home facility, your home place really. I mean, I've been through before, I know what it's like. Knoxville is obviously mine, Iowa Speedway was mine. I've only ever gotten 2 wins at the Iowa Speedway in a league setting in my entire life, which is crazy to me because honestly I do love that track and I love racing it. But I've had about 30 or 40 wins at Knoxville, which is my dirt stock, my late models, and even one time running the, the modifieds over there. So I have quite a few wins on that track, but it's like the same kind of deal goes when you're racing in your own home facility, though. You just get a little bit of those jitters, and you just have that little extra kick in your step because you want to do good for your fans in front of everybody that came out to watch you and put on a show. But I think, honestly, you just sometimes get a little too over your head or just kind of forget one little thing, and everything just comes completely crashing down on you. Now, you are probably wondering at home as well, where is the points leader of the Sub-Series in Derek Paulson? Well, he did mention that he was not going to be able to make the final 2 races due to the summertime stuff. So, Paulson, we hope you are watching on somewhere around here, or at least enjoying yourself on the show and your time off the track. But if you did get enough points to win the championship outright, we do congratulate you on that. But I will say there are some guys that are still trying to figure it out and maybe find one little loophole or one way to take you down on that notch. And one of them just so happens to be that guy in that big 56 down there, the Dodge Charger himself, Blake Treywick. And Treywick again this season, he's been pretty much exactly what I would have expected from him. Smooth and consistent, but then coming alive when he needs to. And he has come alive in this race here at Pocono, putting everything into the basket, putting it all up for grabs. It's been a very solid effort and a very solid race from him and his team today. Question is, will that continue to last, and will that be able to continue on? That'll be a big dilemma he'll have to figure out on his own. So right now, Eric Blount's still your race leader here. Currently, the number 6, 16 spots up, qualified 17th, just hanging up his boots and putting everyone to shame right now. But again, he is all focused on a very, very particular long run. His last pit stop, of course, on lap 26. Setting the bar and a bit of a precedent here for what he wants to do. As we look back into the pack here right now, Blake Trawick's hanging on to the second spot here. He's got a good distance between him and DJ Mitchell. The missile right now is looking to find something on him. Corey Coe and Troy Radford not too far behind either in that regard, as we got just about 30 laps remaining here in this race. So right at the moment here, currently looking a lot longer around the tracks, around the roads here. I think honestly we're probably going to be looking at these guys and gals currently just trying to dictate any kind of pace, any kind of control they can on the circuit. Probably not so much looking to get too crazy with what they're up to, but rather more focused on the endurance level outside of it and just put everything else to good use. Eric Blount coming off pit road there, give back Trawick the race lead, so now he moves back into the top spot. Just 30 laps left to go now. Robert Smith, Ray Radford, and Chantel Pottle all having mechanical problems down there. They have currently been put a lap or two down. Robert Smith out of the race entirely. Unfortunately, the 0A was not able to get the damage cleaned up on his car there, and I think honestly suffered a little bit for his troubles. Hard to say, but right now everyone else is trying to figure it all out here. Little bobble there coming off turn number 2 there, and now Len McNeese opened the door up for Michael Pratt, the number 3, to shoot the gap down into the turn. Got him off from the tunnel turn, and Pratt moves himself right into the spot there. Going from turn 3, he's jumping ahead. Got 5 spots up here for him so far here. Meanwhile, back up to the front, look out ahead. As Gordon Larson Jr. and Corey Coe go head to head here. Corey, big run on the front straightaway of that turn. And then now on turn 1, got it lined off and straightened back out and down to the backstretch, leaned it past the double O, Gordon Larson Jr. And Coe, again, solid racer this season. Definitely a top 5 contender all season round. He's definitely been in that hunt, but again, getting that one win at Atlanta Super Speedway I think really settled him in and settled the bar up. But from there, it was all about just kind of timing and patience. And I think that's really what he was hoping for in that kind of racing. Leading him back down 7 spots up for Brian Rainville as well. Started 15th. He's currently 8th. Anderson starting in the top 5, actually going 5 spots down. Currently holding in 9th. And Anderson right now, I gotta believe, probably just thinking he probably may have overdrove a little too much, a little too quickly, and gave everyone his hand. Once you show your hand that soon, that quickly, it can cost you a bit. And it seems that it's done it today as well for him. Because again, the longer this race goes and spreads out these drivers, the more troublesome it becomes to really find and take away from the pace and take from the control of the racing here. Looking back down low though, here we go. Anderson back underneath there. Beautiful run. Can he hang on though? Rainville looking to stretch her along, and he does. Anderson moves in now to the 8th spot. Rainville not quite able to hold him down with 26 laps remaining here. Anybody's guess at this point, it's all about just timing and the pacing. Speaking of timing the pacing as well, looks like Len Manise, after making his little bobble off from Michael Pratt, he gave the opening to Todd Poston, and now Poston starting to look like he's starting to get it dialed up again. But he's got a little bit of company coming in. Oh, no, he's really got trouble now. Todd Poston going into the wall there before entering in turn number 1. And McNeese shoots the gap. Now looking to shoot back underneath. Big run coming from the 31. Both guys just dead set on one another there. You can see the corner and how tough it is just to get everything situated. Then the speeds certainly are not helping out for Poston. Poston backing off and gets it squared up for the tunnel turn. McNeese trying to drive it through perfectly. Gets a good run off there. Again, you having to steer that car in, and that's tight of a spot. That kind of little position, I guarantee you, most drivers would not even know where to begin with even trying to handle that kind of turn, that kind of positioning. But he managed to dial it up there, and he managed to come back from it. Very well done. Well, Tim Lee, you see, giving up the door opening there for the Butterfinger, number 78 of Dean Viney. Viney just letting it kind of settle on down, simmer back in. Tim Lee, the professor, not been having the best of seasons here. And I think, honestly, his win-loss record's probably been tougher than I think most even can even give him credit for. He's been a tough competitor. And, again, when he gets it dialed in, he can get it dialed in. But it seems as though, as of late, Tim has just not been able to really hone the craft, figure every little piece and detail of the racing surface in, and it really shows. But credit where credit's due, at least he came out, he fought, he scratched, he clawed, and he did everything he could. Just unfortunately at times, it did not quite work out in his favor. And for a guy like Robert Kahn right now, who is trying to hunt both of them down, I think this race probably in particular, probably just kind of antithesis of what he's been feeling this entire week. Probably right now just trying to avoid the controversy in his head, trying to just make sure he stays focused on where he's at in the line, just make sure he can keep his pace up a bit. If I had to think too, I mean, man, it's a long, tough road to have to come back from, and a lot of stuff to have to deal with. And then next week, of course, things coming to the very swift end of this ARCA car, to when then we will be swapping out to a new series following the very next week. So a new season, a new series to run with. I think honestly it will be a very tall order in a race season that many probably will not want to miss. Tim Lee opened the door up for Viney, and Viney opened the door up for Kahn. Double trouble. Kahn strikes it. The daily double has been hit, and he has now put himself in that paper there, but he is still way behind pace, still way behind the leaders as the field's getting into pit road. Mitzel, Morasco, McNeese are in there, Poston's in there. We know Corey Coe and Eric Blount went in there already, so they're trying to hurry out of there before they get caught up too. Gordon Larson Jr. is going from third now. We'll jump it into pit road, so he's going to get his timed up spot. Take a look as Eric Blount, Corey Coe, and DJ Mitzel here just kind of state their pace. Viney going to throw one right back to at the National Guard 88. He's not done with the old rattlesnake down there. He's giving him something here. I applaud Viney for fighting, and I applaud him for trying to take down that old tough snake. Believe me, it's not easy as it looks. It's a lot harder than most even give it credit for. Meanwhile, up ahead right now, Bobby Anderson, you can see using a little bit of lap traffic from Ray Radford, and the number 47 has a little bit of a help here for what he's trying to pull off. What he's trying to do is he's trying to use that dirty air from him to get Rainville stuck in between, and then draft off him for the shoot of the gap. That Toyota Camry number 60 Mobile 1 versus that Chevrolet Impala schemed up of Bobby Anderson right now, looking for a huge runoff into the turns and through the corners. Looking to line it back down in there as Radford will now go into the bottom lanes of the position here coming from pit road. Treywick's still out on the track, so he's trying to get just the one more lap in to set up this entire race for himself. Anderson and Rainville, they are not leaving each other alone though. Very tall moves here and very tall order to be coming from. Anderson finally getting a run off turn number 1. Looks like he's going to try to shoot that gap down at Rainville here. No go there. He had such a good run and such a long pace and power, but it just wasn't quite enough. So 18 laps left on the clock here, or on the track I should say. And now Rainville moving in the race lead, by the way, because Treywick went into pit road. Radford 5 seconds back. Treywick trying to catch him. Anderson, Rainville probably at this point just hoping for a little bit of a break, a little bit of an opening or two to use up on these guys, especially with 17 laps left on the track. Anderson's been very cautious here and optimistic about where and when he makes his move, but to me it seems like all day long it's been always one step back since his initial starting point. I think a lot of that has to just do with the overall consistency and speed you have to take around this place. But I think also really when he got moved up on that bottom lane from where he was at the top side, I think that may have actually hurt his run more than anything. And since then he's been trying to gain it back, but now using that draft to Rainville, he could be maybe planning some little strategy, a little device at end here. But again, Trawick, Radford, Coe, and all them went into pit road already, so these guys are the only ones that are left out. They need a caution in order to just try to stay, hopefully, ahead of the curve and ahead of the turns, but even then, that still isn't quite enough to park yourself into the top spot, even no matter how you want to look at it. Battle for 6th now, Corey Coe. He's been one spot down, starting 5th today here. He's going to go fighting it out, though, with the missile, DJ Mitzel. And it is DJ, the Kodak Max film. Number 4 shoots the turn, shoots the corner off, and the Pontiac Grand Prix just making good use of that car and good use of his work. Trawick making a pass there for 3rd over Prats. Now he is just a few spots away. Robert Kahn, Dean Viney, and Tim Lee all in the pit road there. Cole following a little bit off from Mitzel there. Didn't quite have the speed he wanted to. As Trawick right now desperately tries to get up to the race leaders. And Anderson and Rainville mash the gas pedal down. Anderson for the first time today is going to be a race leader. The 60 of Rainville looking to cross back over on him there with Len McNeese, the lap traffic, trying to get his lap back, double down, and it was Rainville by less than a nose on the front of that car, taking down Anderson right off the corner. And now a little 3 wide slew just for good measures. Len McNeese here, man, he is straddling down this car. He thinks if he gets a chance at it, he will go for it. Again, guys, these drivers, they have not been into pit road yet, so they are pushing their luck, their limits, and really everything they can even imagine here in this situation. Laps left to go now here. Rainville and Anderson still doing it out here. And again, they do not have enough fuel. If they got only 24 laps of fuel in there, they went in on 44 and 46 here. Excuse me, 45, lap 46 there. So Anderson and Rainville, they are pushing not only their luck, but they're pushing a lot more on the track. But even then, Trawick is still putting some gap up on him and getting some serious speed, probably worried that they are not going to be able to make, that they're going to make it past him, but they will not. They are finally heading to pit road. Rainville and Anderson are in the pits. Crucial pit stops up for grabs. Trawick looking to capitalize on it. Down to the front straightaway here. He'll lead it down as you see the 2 leaders originally. Now in pit road, Trawick back in the race lead. So down the last bit here, coming up with 10 to go here. Trawick led a good majority of this race. He's not let off since then. Gordon Larson Jr., Ty Marasco, and Eric Blount top, just battling for that top 5 final position. Marasco earlier on getting sideswiped and put into a very troublesome spot. The wrecks ensuing and situating on himself. Ever since then, though, really it's just been get out there and race his line, race his race. And it's definitely showed. With 10 now to go, Eric Blount just falling further and further back on the number 1. Just a decisive battle and a decisive, conclusive, conducing race here. I'm just amazed, really, where everyone played their cards at, where everyone tried to make their moves at. There's been a lot of drivers taking some very big risks here, just by simply driving a little harder into those tunnel turns or in even to turn 3. Turn 1, I kind of expected them to be making that kind of maneuvering. But it's even crazier when you see moves just like around 2 and 3. Because again, they're so flat banked or tighter to control off of. Really forces many drivers to get a little bit smarter down there as Dean Viney just packed, stacked, and racked up that wall off turn 3. And Viney giving an opening big time to Tim Lee here. Tim jumping it ahead, and the professor finally finding the right equation to pass around the 78. Now the Pit Stall Race Series 24 looking to try and make further use of his equipment and further use of the stuff. He's going right up there against Mike Wright out here. Right now the gap's kind of stretched out a bit here. Everyone just kind of finding their own pace, their own line. Guys like Gordon Larson Jr. and Ty Marasco with really any last minute ditch effort battles pretty much put up on the final laps. Blake Trawick just needs to continue putting laps down and finishing this race outright. He's got nothing less to worry about and nothing more to really go for. He just needs to stay focused and position himself for this one. He's got 7 laps remaining. A little bit of a languishing feature there. 6 laps left to go. Mike Rideout, Tim Lee, and Dean Viney here having themselves a little bit of a gap off, and now turning to 5 left. Viney has been pushing these guys up a little bit and trying to move up the chains a bit more. Again, with how far back in the pack they are, I'm kind of surprised how hard they're racing each other for that 13th position. But I guess that's just one thing about racing sometimes. You never know what you're going to run into, and you never know what kind of chaos you'll see and ensue from. Troy Radford desperately looking for any kind of extra leverage he can. Couldn't quite get it going. Ty Morasco jumping ahead of Gordon Larson Jr. for the 5th spot. The Mustang taking down the Impala SS. At least for the moment. Will he be able to finish that outright, though, is going to be a question only he can answer. Bobby Anderson today, by the way, going into the 8th position. Honestly, I'm very impressed with him so far with what he did, how he handled himself, how he raced himself. Troy Radford, same deal, same boat with the Georgian. Moving in down to be a Pennsylvanian. It's just showing a great remark and intrepidous attitude to this place. Definitely shows he can be a favorite. Had he raced this entire season too, I kind of wonder, would that have made this points race even closer than it ever was? It's hard to say, but meanwhile, up to the fight down, it is Bobby Anderson making a big jump there to Eric Blount. Blount just trying to hold on for whatever he can. He's gone 9 spots up. Was going to go 10 up if he had hold his line there, but instead he'll fall to the 18 of Bobby Anderson. Top 5 right now: Morasco, Coe, Mitzel, Ratsford, and Treywick. Quite a lineup, and I did say earlier you may see a few shockers kind of making some passes, making some runs down there. Well, I wasn't lying in that case, as we still see a battle going hard on down that front straightaway. I really don't know what has gone into Dean Viney back there, man, but he just does not care. The old dogs know how to throw a few tricks once in a while. And he's currently just putting the heck out of the speed and the power on these cars. Right out, Tim Lee have just got to be probably thinking in the back of their head, like, are we really battling this hard for the position we're in right now? And the answer to that is, boys, yes, this is how it is. DJ the Mitzel right now looking just to try to put both of them out of his pain, out of their misery by going into the spotlight here. Moving up for the 3rd place. Runs it right off the course. Gets it ahead of Dean Viney just a little bit with 2 laps to go now. Blake Treywick today, really, in my opinion, has just been flat out unstoppable. Timed his moments right. Timed his runs correctly. He did everything. Ooh, boy, he had to stay out of trouble. Lynn McNeese really better almost giving Treyway probably a little bit of a heart attack there for a second. The last thing he needed to see was any kind of mismatch or any issues here, and that's exactly what we're going to get. Lead him down to that front straightaway. White flag in the air, presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing and John T. Garrett Twitch channel. This is Treywick's race yet again. He came away with a win not long ago. And now the Dodge Charger has just hooked up and put up another statistic. He leads it down with some absolute madness, power, and all that. With the final legs up now in his mind, he is simply just need to continue to mash it up. One more set, one more go. Through corner number 3, Blake Treywick once again has done it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to take this one home in Pocono. Your race winner at the Tricky Triangle, Blake Treywick. What a long, long day for that number 56. But you can't deny he put everything on the table and threw everything that he had to right in that position there. Yeah, well, well, looks like Robert Kahn decided to have a little bit of fun down there. A long fight to the end, but Trawick takes it to victory lane. Well, safe to say, he's probably going to be doing burnouts for a while here, guys, so. Your race results now on your screen, presented by Lightning Wrapz. Blake Trawick wins it out. Troy Radford second, third, and DJ Mitchell. Corey Kell fourth, Ty Marasco fifth, Gordon Larson Jr. sixth, Bobby Anderson seventh, eighth to Eric Blount, ninth to Michael Pratt. Len McNeese gonna go top 10 for this one. That was your race results. Well, let's listen into them now, ladies and gentlemen. Third place finisher coming to us there, the Missile, DJ Mitchell, in the number 4 with a long, long run ahead, and managed to scratch the surface at least for another top 3 here, sir. How did it feel there late into this one?
It was a good race. Got caught up in a little incident there on that first lap, so got kind of scrubbed my tires there on it, and just had to chill out. Tried a little strategy deal, and it worked out. Well, it worked out for a decent finish, I guess.
Yeah, decent finish and a decent run here. I know obviously you had a lot of work to do just to kind of keep this car somewhat stable into the corners there, but that long road looked like it really kind of winded down to just making sure you make your turns and just head on for the best. I mean, how hard was it just to even try to get this car to settle back down there from time to time?
Well, for me, this track, and I don't know if other people are like me, but this track is really a track where you have to stay focused, because you can't necessarily keep that rhythm that you can on other tracks because every turn's different. And I just found myself, I'd lose a little bit of focus, and then my lap times would go down, and I have to focus back up. Really, I think my lines were fine. I was doing decent on tires. The main thing was just focus. Once you got a good bit of laps on that right front, it just kind of was just plowing. So you really had to back it off. But overall, everything was pretty stable, pretty good car.
Pretty good car, pretty stable to the end. Well, I'll ask you this, sir. Who do you want to thank here today?
I just want to thank everybody involved with Pit Stall, Tim Lee, Dave up in the booth, you, Chris, for broadcasting. Just fun group of guys. Enjoyed it again.
Well, it's fun to talk to you again here, DJ. Congratulations, bringing out home for third.
Thank you.
Third place finisher today, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Mitchell, as we take now down to the second place finisher today, Troy Radford here, the number 94, back with us in Radford. Once again, sir, another long road, but a successful run here for you as you bring home a podium and a second place finish. How big was that for you in front of your home state, my friend?
I can't complain at all. It was a good, solid race. Don't run the ARCA car a ton, so really tire safety is a struggle in the ARCA car for me, just because I don't run it that much. But when it comes down to it, Blake is a heck of a driver. He did a great job tonight, and you can kind of track it down to the beginning of the race. He had about a 3-lap period where he saved his tires, fell back, let us kind of dogfight for the lead. Then when the tires took over, for about those 3 laps, he came through, and when you track it back to it, we pretty much yo-yoed the entire way, except for that first run where he saved the tires for those 3 laps, and then ended up gapping me in the first run. So, just interesting to watch a race kind of come down when you look back at it, come down to those 3 laps in reality.
For sure there. Obviously, I know kind of had a lot going down to that play, down to the edge there. Trawick, obviously, though, just kind of catching the brakes when he needed to and catching the speeds from pit road and on the track as well. How hard was it just to get this ARCA car to kind of get away from that dirty air, too, when it started to kind of force you and some other drivers back?
Oh, it definitely did. If you were behind somebody, it'd want to take off on exit. So, I had a couple of times where, I definitely did not catch lap cars at a great position, so definitely kind of caught that a little bit. And then, of course, towards the end, I was kind of laughing about it where, I'm sitting there 6 seconds back. I got 7, 8 seconds, so I'm just kind of like mentally zoned out at that point because ain't nothing gonna happen. But, just kind of, watching the rest of the race unfold.
Well, you watched the rest of things unfold with you popping up a solid second place. Who do you want to thank you for that one, sir?
Oh, of course, always a big one out to Lucky Fin Project, Evidence Based Mommy, as well as the National Kidney Foundation. All of you guys over at PTM doing everything, and just all of the guys with the pit stall. I, always love coming over. Just good group of guys, and just fun group. That's everything. Just fun group.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Radford, congratulations going second today, buddy.
Thank you.
Troy Radford, ladies and gentlemen, taking home a solid second. But the guy that comes away in victory lane again, he'll move its way up to the top again. Blake Trawick, your winner today here at Pocono. And Trawick, a very, very tall order ahead. You've got a couple wins this season, and add another one to the resume certainly does not hurt.
No, it doesn't. This one feels the best all season so far. I've ran Pocono in so many leagues, so many years, and I've had the wins taken away by last lap wrecks, admins accidentally hitting the yellow. So this is my first league win at Pocono, so it feels good.
You came down to the wire there at the very end. You were having to get one more lap to go. I mean, how much emotion just kind of hits you as soon as you even got to that point, sir?
A lot, because I've been in that boat so many times. I was worried what was going to happen. I don't know what I was getting by a lapper coming to the white there, and they got into the wall, and the whole race flashed right there. I'm like, oh man, I've been here before coming to the white and getting wrecked. So it was just wait until I took the checker before I celebrated at all.
Well, that's time to celebrate now, so you know who to thank, who we got today.
Yeah, week in, week out, you guys were broadcasting, excellent show. Pit stall for putting on amazing races. We went, other than that first lap there, another almost full green race, so that's amazing. And Splash and Go graphics for the paints. Definitely check them out.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless here, Blake, man, well earned and deserved. Congratulations winning this one.
Thank you.
Blake Trawick, ladies and gentlemen, your winner today here in Pocono. A very, very long run for these drivers, but ends up with success for many and others just figuring out the rest. Thanks again to Fort Worth Screen Printing again for sponsoring the show. Be sure to check them out in John T. Garrett Twitch channel for their support. And also Lightning Wrapz, be sure to check them out on Facebook here to get yourself the most designed up wraps you can think of. Signing out from Long Pond, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back this Saturday night. We've got more editions to go. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time when the green flag flies.